Welcome to Minding Your Business, the show for incredibly talented business, social, and artistic entrepreneurs. I'm your host, June Middleton. Our show this evening has a very special guest, an extremely talented actor, performer, vocalist, and comedian. He has been delighting audiences around the country and particularly here in New York now for several years. And he came from the field of architecture and decided, I want to follow my dream and be a professional entertainer. Well, he has done it and done it successfully, and I am thrilled to have him here on our show this evening. He has worked to sold-out crowds at Sophie's, Metropolitan here in Manhattan, and he's won awards for his acting. He is accompanied by the very talented and accomplished musical director, BEN KRAUSS. It is my great pleasure to present to you Charles BARAN. Stage is yours.
When I was young, I found it grim to gurgle in the social swim. The do's and don'ts and la-di-da's to me is just a lot of blah. I used my plastic spoon at birth for tossing meatballs at my nurse. I always chose to thumb my nose at smarty clothes and party pose. I've ditched the rich and sable set to join the kitchen table set. I use the wrong fork at these joints in New York. My manners ain't fit for a goop. Well, I'm just a square in the social circle. Who put that fly in my soup? I'd rather go out with a lout to a bout than sleep in a symphony hall. Well, I'm just a square in the social circle who knocked my gum off the wall. When the utterly utter flows like a butter, I want to start pitching a curve with a silly old blighter on a first nighter. I feel like a pickled hors d'oeuvre, no verve. I never felt gay in a fancy beret. I'll wear my babushka or cap. Well, I'm just a square in the social circle. I'm just a regular chap. Hey, who dropped that cake in my lap? Mrs. Vanderhorst will greet me with a 14-carat shout. My dear, you've simply got to come. 2 daughters coming out. Her daughter is a Frankenstein, a Dracula and mink. When she comes out, each stag will shout, Gadzooks, I need a drink. Yeah. I've dined and clubbed, I've elbow rubbed, from Yonkers to Cheyenne. Fool to you, but take your blue blood and stick it in your fountain pen. I want to brush all the blush and the gush. I'd rather get left than be right. Well, I'm just a square in the social circle. Anyone here want to fight? Well, none of me fits with the wits at the Ritz. I'd rather relax on that stool. Well, I'm just a square in the social circle. Hey, June, you want to shoot pool? When a fella with cabbage gets too savage, I'll wrestle him 3 out of 4. Well, I would rather a sailor hop in my trailer and teach me some nautical law. Why, sure. You ladies in frills only fill me with chills. You're soft as a ball of chenille. Well, I'm just a square in the social circle. I got a muscle of steel. Anyone here wanna feel? Well, I'm as square as a pear in a boot in there. Fancy silk won't stay on. I'm designed for rayon, but I just don't seem to care.
Oh, that on over and join me, please.
Come on over, Ben.
Oh, welcome to
We're
the show.
so happy to be here.
Oh, I am delighted to have you.
Thank you for and this is for you. I got this today at the 14th Street Union Square Farmers Market. I was downtown on 14th Street, and you know they have the farmers market like 2 or 3 times a week down there. And this is
I love that place.
This is dandelion jelly.
Oh my gosh.
And the man that made it
Well,
said it's his wife's farm. She makes
So,
the.
so where are the rest of the hors d'oeuvres and the bread?
Do you have any
and
crackers
the
in your bag,
muffins
man? No,
and
I
the
don't
rolls?
think
I mean,
so.
come on. Let's.
Take it home. It looks a little runny, right? But they said if you
This
put it
is
in the refrigerator, it
wonderful.
congeals.
Thank you
And
so
dandelion
much.
from fresh dandelion
Oh,
blossoms.
that is delightful.
I tasted it. It's wonderful. Not from that. Not from that jar.
Who is the actress who's going around licking donuts or something?
It's
You didn't
Ariana
do that.
Grande.
Okay.
Grande,
We won't
Ariana
go
Grande.
there.
Yes, she's licking the donuts from the
Okay,
Dunkin'
we
Donut
won't
shops.
go- Listen, welcome to the show.
Thank you. we're so pleased to be here.
It's great to have you here. It
Thank
really
you.
and truly is. And I just, there's so much I need to talk to you and I want to talk to you about, but I don't want to run out of time for anything that I'd like for us to do. So
Good.
when did you first realize that you wanted to be an entertainer? And give up the dull kind of stuff that I guess you felt you were doing?
Well, yes, thank you. I was for years and years in the business world running big architectural companies. And what happened once about 5 years ago, I went into an acting class. I saw a subway poster, and this is a true story. I was walking through the 42nd Street subway station, and a poster for HB Studio was there, and you know, the acting school, and I looked at the poster, and I stopped in front of it, and I said, you know what? Just to spice up my life, I'm going to take an acting class. Well, I took that acting class, and I was off to the races.
Oh my
I remember it was a Tuesday night class from 8 to 10 at night. I loved it. And then I started to audition and get cast in things. And then, lo and behold, someone put a microphone in my hand, and I started to sing.
But tell me, did you set up your own act? Did you stage your act yourself and
Yes,
write
I
your
do.
own material?
Yes, I
because, I
do.
mean, that used to be done a lot.
Yes.
Going back a few years, I don't want to date myself, but
Well, I'm right with you, June, actually.
Bless
I'm right.
you.
I know the same shows that you watch.
right? And I mean, especially for nightclub acts and cabaret
Right.
performers. I mean, you did your own material.
Totally.
You know?
Well, when I grew up in the 70s, early 80s. The TV was always on in my house. We always watched shows like Mike Douglas, Merv Griffin, Johnny Carson, Jack Parr. My mother we grew up in Elmhurst, Queens, in the foothills of Corona. And we would sit in front of that TV and watch Carol Burnett. I grew up with all that entertainment. So when I became an entertainer, I wanted to bring all that back to it. I love that variety style.
Oh, yeah, and you don't see it as much. Everything is so perfectly staged and choreographed. I mean,
Right.
every lift of the finger or the turn of the head. So you lose the spontaneity that you have.
Well, the excitement about live entertainment is that it's live and that anything can happen. Even tonight in the studio, we're singing here. No, it's all good. It's all good, but that's what makes it so much fun. If it's too overly rehearsed, it loses a lot of the
Oh,
charm.
it's true. Well, now, did you launch yourself into, where did you first start doing stand-up? Because you also are a comedian.
I do stand-up. I do some stand-up in my act because what I decided to structure my act is songs and stories about my life growing up in Queens, the different odd jobs that I've had along the way that Ben has heard 15,000 times because he's always there at each show, and I couldn't do the shows without him. But I structured it myself because I wanted to bring the audience a total entertainment rather than song after song after song after song, which is very nice. It works with many, many entertainers. I'm not diminishing it by any means. But for me as an entertainer, I love to bring something other than just the songs to the table because I love to connect.
Yeah, yeah.
with
yeah.
people. So I write them myself, and I
It's
kind of
great.
self-direct them as well.
Well, I introduced you as an actor, a singer, comedian, but you also dance. I mean,
Well, I move. I don't know if I call it dancing. I don't think Susan
works.
Stroman would put me on the
keep
stage.
it in the act.
I
It
will,
works.
thank you.
Okay, it definitely
Just
works.
really quick, I went to an audition once that was for singers who move well. Well, I thought I did move well until I went to that audition, and moving well is a whole nother level.
Well, that's something we can talk about at another time.
But I've started dance classes as well, which I'm happy
Excellent,
about. Yes.
excellent, excellent. Well, you have an absolutely wonderful musical director.
Oh, he's
and I'm
amazing.
so
We need
glad
to-
that he's here with us this evening.
Ben
and-
Krauss.
Glad to be here.
Jeepers, it's just really nice. I love your playing. It's really nice.
thank you.
really, really nice. And what I'd like to ask you about, you also do arranging, and what are some of the things? You've done a lot of Broadway work
I've
too.
worked on the music staff for a couple of Broadway shows.
What are some of the things you worked in?
I worked, the most recent job I did on Broadway was I was assistant orchestrator for the Mystery of Edwin Drood, where I assisted the
Assistant
composer orchestrating that.
Wow.
And so some of the stuff, I do for Charles's shows, orchestrate them. When we do the shows at the Metropolitan Room, we have a 4-piece band.
Ah,
So one of
okay,
the...
the next time when you come back.
We'll have, we'll have the
We'll bring
reeds and we'll have the percussion,
right.
everything
Bring
here.
some
Yeah.
of the other musicians
Exactly.
as well. Although it sounds like you're 2 or 3 pieces just with that keyboard.
Yeah, well, thank you.
So it's wonderful.
When we rehearse together, it's always such a joy because Ben brings such musicality to the rehearsals in the rooms that I feel like I'm always doing the show even in just a rehearsal room. It's fantastic.
Now, are you classically trained? Are you a New Yorker? Where did you?
I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio.
What's the famous class, the school, the music
There's the
school?
Cleveland, there's the Music Institute there, which I did not study at, but my piano teacher, was from there.
And do you do much composing?
Yes, that's what I studied in school. It was classical composition, which I don't do as much these days, but I'm in the middle of some musical theater composition at the moment.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
He's
That's
working on a
wonderful.
show that I have no idea what it's about or really know. Well, he told me a little bit about it this weekend, but I don't know too much about it. I haven't heard any of the music.
Still
I'm dying to
it's
hear.
still very early in the process.
I'm dying to hear some of it. So
Okay, and
next time.
well, all right, then the next time
Next
too,
time.
when you come back, you can perform a piece for us.
That sounds great.
If you
Yeah.
would,
Yeah.
because it's nice to hear more of you. I mean, of course, we enjoy hearing what you're doing. So,
Thank you.
but it's just such a pleasure to have you here. And what was the song that you just did? The first song that you opened with?
That's a song called "A Square in the Social Circle," and one of my
Jay Livingston and
Yes.
Ray
Evans.
Ray Evans.
But it's really a Betty Hutton song.
Oh,
Now, Betty Hutton was somebody that was recommended to me to listen to because of my style. So when I sing in different places like the Metropolitan Room, someone may come up to me afterwards and say, "Charles, you should try this song, or you should try this song, or listen to this person." So someone once said to me, "Have you tried any Betty Hutton stuff?" So right now in my repertoire, I have about 3 or 4 Betty Hutton
so, yeah.
songs. I do "Murder," he says. Arthur Murray
oh
taught
my
me how
gosh,
to dance
I
in a
remember
hurry.
that.
Murder, he says. That's for next show.
Yes.
But
Well,
we have-
it's so interesting to know what you're doing. But during rehearsal, I heard you doing a piece called Pelican.
Yes.
How about doing that for us now?
I'd love to do a
That
little
is
bit of that
just-
Pelican song for you.
Yeah. Oh, I really enjoyed that.
That's
so why don't
wonderful.
you just go right over,
Thank you.
get set up, and meanwhile, while you're getting set up, I can talk about you're going to be at the Metropolitan Room on November 22nd.
Yes, we're
And-
back there.
It'll be that's over on 22nd Street. You've been there a lot.
Yes, the Metropolitan Room is a great place, and they've been really terrific over there, and I've done
that's
3 shows
great.
there already, and that'll be my 4th time there.
Well, you have a setup for the song that you're about to for
Yeah,
Pelican.
it's a little story that I want to
go
share
right
with the
ahead.
audience. So this song is called Pelican, but before I get into the song, I want to tell you, last year I had a wonderful experience. I got to go to Europe for the first time in my life. I'm a person who has not really traveled much beyond Queens and New Jersey and upstate New York. So going to Europe for me was a very big opportunity. And I got to go to 3 cities in Europe. I got to go to Budapest, Vienna, and Krakow, Poland. And I'm Polish, so going to Poland was really a big thrill for me because I felt like my mom and dad would have really appreciated that I went there. And Krakow is the most beautiful city in Poland. It has this beautiful market square with all these cafes around them. And one day it was in October, and it was about 70 degrees, and it was just a beautiful, beautiful sky, blue sky, not a cloud in the sky. It was about 70, and everyone was out at the cafes, and the little horse-drawn carriages were parading around the market square. And I was enjoying my lunch, and the waitress brought me over this big stack of food for like 6 zlotys, which is like, you know, $4 in US currency. And I had pierogies and gołąbkis and kielbasi, and I'm sitting there enjoying it. But you know, when you go to Europe and different countries, you see things you don't always see when you're in New York or places that you're familiar with. So I look up in the sky as I'm enjoying the beautiful blue sky, and what do I see flying right over Market Square?
But a pelican. Honest to goodness, a real pelican. I couldn't believe it. And I said, oh God, now I've seen everything. I've seen a Polish pelican. Today, I saw a pelican flying past the cafe I was sitting in. He opened up his beak, he opened wide. There was a staircase that was winding down inside. And then he welcomed me, and I stepped in over the welcome mat that lay upon his pelichin. And it was wonderful to be inside a pelican whose beak had opened wide. And now I live in a pelican, I live in a pelican. And I watch out the window as we soar around, and my tired people feet, they never have to touch the ground. And there's nothing wrong with that. Every morning I go out, I shake out the welcome mat and welcome others in to live inside the beautiful pelican. So I'm in Polszyk, right? We're flying around, well, Polszyk, he's a Polish pelican, and that was his name. So I'm flying around over Krakow, Poland, and I'm looking at all the beautiful things down below, all the beautiful people sitting around in Market Square enjoying their lunches, all the carriages going around and parading. But I got a little bored, so I said, Polszyk, let's go somewhere else. Let's see something else. I said, let's go over to Vienna. And he said, sure thing, Chuck. So we swoop over to Vienna. And then we're flying over Vienna, and we're over the Staats Opera House, the big square there. And there's all these people and all these tourists walking around, and it's a wonderful, still a beautiful October day. Sun is shining, and I look down. I look down at the Opera House, and what do I see? I see an elephant. And I say, hey, Polszyk, look down there. There's a big old elephant down right in front of the Opera House, a real one. Let's go down and take a look. And he says, sure thing, Chuck. So we swoop down to see him. That day, we met an elephant. He never tells us that we pelican or pelicant. He lifted up his trunk. He opened wide. There was a staircase that was winding down inside. And then he welcomed us. And we flew in over the welcome mat that lay upon his elichin. And it was beautiful to be inside a pelican whose beak had opened wide. Inside an elephant who'd welcomed us inside. And now I live in a pelican inside an elephant. And I watch out the window as we stomp around, And my tiny people feet, they never have to touch the ground. And there's nothing wrong with that. Every morning I go out and shake out the welcome mat and welcome others in to live inside the beautiful Pelican. And there's nothing wrong with that. Every morning I go out, I shake out the welcome mat and welcome others in to live inside the beautiful Pelican. To live inside the beautiful Pelican. 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 Pelican.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Oh, this is great. I see a one-man show, Broadway show in your future.
Well, that's
Okay.
great, and he'll be writing a lot of the
That
material.
sounds great.
Because I ain't losing, Ben.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's something that certainly I think you
Thank you,
could
June.
and should do.
Thank you
have
so
to
much.
preview some of it here, though, first.
I'm sorry?
You have to preview some of it
Oh,
here, though,
absolutely.
first. You know that.
I feel very comfortable on this little oriental rug right here.
Speaking of previewing, how do you market yourself? What is your main
Well, I use a lot of the social media, which is you know, ever since the advent of Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. I'm not on Snapchat, but because I hear that's for other purposes. But I love you know, when I do something on like a show, I promote it heavily on Facebook. I also do a group email mailing or a group email. I have throughout the years, the several years now, I have developed a very solid email.
Well, this
base,
is great.
which is
This
great. That's the way I do it.
I mean, if you're selling out, having sold out crowds at the places here in New York, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and
do
then you know, then you get some sort of a little following. People come to see
Absolutely.
you and they bring a friend or
And
two.
believe it or not, we're running out of time.
We are. Oh my. We're chatting so much. We're having such a good time.
So I am just so happy that you're here this evening, both of you.
Thank you.
It's just been such a thrill. And it's just such, you have a wonderful act. Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Really. And lots of luck for your November Metropolitan appearance.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to thank you for being my guest this evening.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
And thank you to our wonderful crew. And a very, very special thanks to Rich and Manhattan Neighborhood Network for making this show possible. You have been watching Minding Your Business, whether it be performing business or e-commerce or whatever, and the show which is for very talented, versatile entrepreneurs. I'm your host, June Middleton. Please join us again for another show and see yourself where you want to be, because it's a lot of work, but it happens. So congratulations for what you've accomplished so far.
Thank you, June.
Close us out, if you will, please, though, and perform one more song for us. What's it going to be?
Well, one of my inspirations growing up, a person I played all the time in my basement in Elmhurst, Queens, was Phoebe Snow. You may have heard of Phoebe Snow. And this is a lovely Phoebe Snow song that I love to sing. It's a little different than the first two things, so we'll just take you out with it. I wish I was a willow and I could sway to the music in the wind. And I wish I was a lover, I wouldn't need my costumes and pretend. I wish I were a mountain, I'd
pass boldly through the clouds and never end. I wish I was a soft refrain. When the lights were low, I'd play and be your friend. I strut and fret, my hour upon the stage. The hour is up, I have to run and hide my rage. I'm lost again, I think I'm really scared. I won't be back at all this time and have my deepest secret shared. No, 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 no. I'd like to be a willow, a lover, a mountain, or a soft refrain. But I hate to be a grown-up and have to try to bear my life and pain. I strut and fret, my hour upon that stage. The hour is up, I have to run and hide my rage. I'm lost again, I think I'm really scared. I won't be back at all this time and have my deepest secret shared. No, 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 no. I'd like to be a willow, a lover, a mountain, or that soft refrain. But I hate to be a grown-up and have to try to bear my life and pain, and have to try to bear my life and pain, and have to try to bear my life and pain.